to another video. Today I want to pick up in 2nd Esdras chapter 7 again, but I want to skip down a little bit because there's some things I want us to get to. It's a lot of reading, but I want us to see this picture because this picture is a little bit scary. It's a little bit unnerving. So bear with me, okay? So check it out. We're going to start in verse 44. And listen to this. It says, "This is the judgment and the ordinance thereof. But to thee only have I shewed these things. And I answered, I said, even then, O Lord, and I say now, blessed are they that now be alive and keep the statutes and ordinance of thee, statutes ordained of thee. But as touching them for whom my prayers was made, what shall I say? For who is there of them that be alive that hath not sinned? And who of the sons of men that hath not transgressed thy covenant? And now I see that the world to come shall bring the light to few, but torments unto many. For an evil heart hath grown up in us, which hath led us astray from these statutes, and hath brought us into corruption and into the ways of death, hath shewed us the paths of perdition, and removed us far from life. And that not a few only, but well nigh all that have been created." Almost all that people have been created. We've all been under this this heart that the enemy has placed in us, that the world has placed in us. And it is a heart to do evil. It is a heart after evil. It is a heart after selfishness, after everything that is against Yahweh. Okay, so I want us to make sure that we see this. We see the truth in this. That Yahweh is trying to tell us, hey, most people are not going to make it into the kingdom of heaven. Most people. And I'm going to show you why and what we have to do to get into the kingdom of heaven, okay? All right, hang with me. For an evil heart, okay, let's go down. For this cause the Most High, oh, I'm sorry, 49. And he answered me and said, hearken unto me, and I will instruct thee, and I will admonish thee yet again. For this cause the Most High hath not made one world, but two. For whereas thou hast said that the just are not many, but few, and the ungodly abound, hear the answer thereunto. If thou have choice stones exceeding few, wilt thou set for thee over against them according to their number things of lead and clay? And I said, Lord, how shall this be? So he's saying, if you have choice stones, if you have something that's much better than lead and clay, would you put that down for the lead and clay? All right. And he said unto me, not only this, but ask the earth, and she shall tell thee, entreat her, and she shall declare unto thee. For thou shalt say unto her, thou bringest forth gold and silver and brass and iron and lead and clay. But silver is more abundant than gold, and brass than silver, and iron than brass, lead than iron, and clay than lead. Judge thou therefore which things are precious and to be desired, whatso is abundant or what is rare. And I said, O Lord, that bearest rule, what shall, or this, that which is plentiful is of less worth, for that which is more rare is more precious. And he answered me and said, weigh within thyself the things that thou hast thought. For he that has what is hard to get rejoiceth over him that has what is plentiful. So also is the judgment which I have promised, for I will rejoice over, hold on. Yeah, the page is sticking. For I have rejoiced over the few that shall be saved, inasmuch as these they are inasmuch as these are they that have made my glory now to prevail, and of whom my name is now named. And I will not grieve over the multitude of them that perish, for these are they that are now like unto vapor, and are become as flame and smoke. They are set on fire and burn hotly, and are quenched. And I answered and said, O thou earth, wherefore hast thou brought forth, if the mind is made out of dust, like as all other created things? For it were better that the dust itself had been unborn, so that the mind might not have been made therefrom. But now the mind groweth with us, and by reason of this we are tormented, because we perish and know it. I'm pause right there. Yahweh is basically saying, out of all the people in the earth, very few people are going to make it into heaven because they're like gold. Everybody else is like lead, clay, brass, silver, all of that. There's more of everything else than there is of gold. So Yahweh is saying, I want the gold. I want the people who are like gold. I'm not even going to cry. I'm not even going to worry. I don't even care about the multitudes. Okay? I only care about the gold because they're so few and hard to find. I tell y'all, when we get into this word like this and we really read these things, I know the Hebrew Israelites, they pick and choose these things and they say, oh, the Gentiles are like, clay, whatever. But that's not what it's saying at all. He's talking about humanity as a whole. Okay? Anybody who is willing to do the work, and I'm going to show you what the work is. We're going to get into that in a minute. But anyone who is willing to do the work will be allowed into the kingdom of Yahweh. Okay? Everybody else, we're going to read what happens to them. And it's pretty bad. All right? You only got one chance in this life. I'm so glad that you came and you come to my page, because I want to show you the reality. I don't want to give you a bunch of hogwash. Oh, everything's going to be okay. You're blessed. Yahweh has the best for you. He cares for you. He loves you. He don't care about most people. Let's be real. He don't care about most people. I know a lot of people might say, oh, that's wrong. That's not right. We just said it right here. He says, I will not grieve over the multitude of them that perish. Yahweh doesn't even care how many perish. He could care less about how many of his creation don't make it into the kingdom of heaven. He doesn't care. So we need to be focused, laser focused on the things that matter to Yahweh. You see, everybody's out here screaming, Jesus, 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 without realizing that he is going to give everything back to the Father. You have to be pleasing to the Father. How do you be pleasing to the Father? We're going to get into it. All right. 62. And I answered and said, okay, let's skip down. But now the mind groweth in us, groweth with us, and by reason of this we are tormented, because we perish and know it. You see, in our mind, when we are faced with the understanding that Yahweh doesn't care about the many, he doesn't care about the whole world, he only cares about the few, the remnant. And that's what we're trying to become, the remnant. Okay, we're trying to become the ones that make it, and we're striving to become that. All right, so we know that we are going to die. We know that, because of this world, we have been given a heart after sin, after thoughts that are not of Yahweh, after actions that are not of Yahweh, after a heart that is against Yahweh. We have to fight against our own heart, against our own mind, against our own flesh, against our own eyes, our own ears, our own tongues, our own hands and feelings. We have to fight against everything that is natural. Okay? Let me keep going. Let the race of men lament, and the beasts of the field be glad. Let all that are born lament, but let the four-footed beasts and cattle rejoice. For it is far better with them than with us. For they look not for judgment, neither do they know of torments or of salvation promised unto them after death. All right. So because we humans, we know that there is salvation promised after death. We know of the torments of this world. We know of the negative, the good and the bad. This is the crazy thing about Adam. When he sinned, he opened up the way for all of us to know good and evil. All right. And because we know these things, and now we know that we're going to be judged for all of those things, and Yahweh doesn't really care about the many. This puts us in a precarious place. And just like he said, it's dreadful to us. It pricks our heart. It gets us in our soul. And we're like, oh no, I don't want that. Okay, I don't want to be one that Yahweh says, I don't care. Bye. Go over there. Bye. Won't want to be that, right? All right. Let's get back into this. For it is far better with them than with us, for they look not for judgment, neither do they know of torments of salvation promised unto them after death. For what doth it profit us that we shall be preserved alive, but yet be afflicted with torment? For all that are born are defiled with iniquities. Everybody's born has already screwed up. All of us, okay? And are full of sins and laden with offenses. And if after death we were not to come into judgment, peradventure it had been better for us. And he answered me and said, when the Most High made the world and Adam and all them that came of him, he first prepared the judgment and the things that pertain unto the judgment. So Yahweh had already prepared judgment. Well, of course, his angels sinned before all this happened. So he had already created and prepared for this judgment day. Okay. And he kind of figured if his angels sinned and messed up, why wouldn't people? Why wouldn't his creation? He created the angels before he created us. And once Satan came on the scene, it gave them choice that they didn't know they had. Okay? Most of us have a choice that we don't even know we have. We don't know that we can choose Yah over this world. Most people just think they're just given the hand that they're dealt, and they just got to work with the hand that they're dealt, and there is nothing else. Okay? But we know, just like the angels, they didn't realize that they could be judged for disobeying Yah. So we know that we can be saved by obeying Yah. Okay? All right, 71. And now understand from thine own words, for thou hast said that the mind groweth with us. They therefore that dwell upon the earth shall be tormented for this reason. And having understanding, they have wrought iniquity, and receiving commandments have not kept them, and have obtained a law, they dealt unfaithfully with that which they received. All right, do you get that? I'm gonna reread that. And now understand from thine own words, for thou hast said, the mind groweth within us. Yes, our mind grows within us. It grows more and more evil in this world, right? As we learn more and more sin, as we get those dopamine hits from sinning, from doing bad things, from doing the things that Yah says don't do. When we do too much of something, it gives us a dopamine hit and we like it and we want to keep doing it. So as we saying, the mind groweth, is growing in us, right? They therefore that dwell upon the earth shall be tormented for this reason. All right? That having understanding, they have wrought iniquity. So because we have understanding, we chose iniquity. Okay? We chose to do wrong. And receiving commandments have not kept them. All right? And having obtained a law, they dealt unfaithfully with that which they received. So because Yahweh says, I've given you my law, and you won't obey it, You won't go back and learn what the rules to this game is, what the rules to this world, this life is, what I expect of you. And that's why we get in our word every Shabbat, every day. But every Shabbat, we get in our word and we're learning and we're getting it. And we're asking Yahweh to open our heart to help us to understand his word, to help us to understand, what do you mean? How do we live for you? How do we get this right? How do we stop from sinning? How do we do this? How do we do that? Okay. It says, what then will they have to say in the judgment? Or how will they answer in the last times? For how great a time hath the Most High been long suffering with them that inhabit the world. Okay, so we don't understand how long Yahweh has watched us sin. We don't understand how long Yahweh has seen human beings take what he gives them and do the opposite. So therefore, he doesn't have feelings. He doesn't care about the multitude, because he's seen this so many times with so many generations. All right, so we can't even really get upset with him at this point. He's fed up with us. He's like, hey, I'm tired of even trying. I don't care no more. If you make it, you make it. If you don't, I've given you everything you needed to make it, but you didn't take it seriously and you won't do it. So, oh well. All right. All right. For how great a time hath the Most High been long suffering with them that inhabit the world, and not for their sakes, but because of the times which he had foreordained. And I answered and said, if I have found grace in thy sight, O Lord, shew this also unto thy servant, whether after death, even now, when every one of us giveth up his soul, we shall be kept in rest until those times come, in which thou shalt renew the creation, or whether he shall be tormented forthwith. And he answered me and said, I will shew thee this also, but join not thyself with them that are scorners, nor number thyself with them that are tormented. I'm going to tell you, that is such, I bet when he heard that, when this prophet heard that, he was so relieved that he says, Yah says, don't worry about it. Don't number yourself amongst them. You've done what you're supposed to do to get out of that. So don't worry about it. Y'all, I don't know what this prophet gave up. I don't know what he had to do to hear in his lifetime, you're good. Don't worry about it. But we strive to hear that. We strive to know here and now on the earth. You see, we get to repent. We get to ask for forgiveness as many times as it takes. We get to start over. But we have to build up this level of obedience over a long period of time. We got to stop starting over. We got to stop repenting and starting over and over again. We have to start building up the things that it takes for Yahweh to tell us while we're still breathing, you're good. Don't worry about it. You're not one of them that's going to miss heaven. And I wanted to tell you also, you can ask Yah how you look to him. If you're okay in his sight, the Holy Spirit will tell you. She will give you a dream that either scares you or encourages you. She will let you know where you stand with Yahweh. You don't have to live your whole life not knowing. You can pray and ask the Holy Spirit, show me. Show me where I am. Show me what I look like to you. Show me how my walk is. Is my walk pleasing to you? Am I doing what you called me to do? Are you pleased with me? And if not, what do I need to do? Guide me to reading your word, to understanding what I need to do. Yah will tell you. You don't have to wait your whole life just to find out at judgment. He will literally tell you beforehand. Okay? So don't get afraid. Don't get so upset and you think, oh no, we go through this life and we try just to find out at the end that we didn't make it because we didn't know something. You can find out now. That is why this prophet is asking Yah all these things, because he wants to know. He is used to asking Yahweh questions and Yahweh answering. So we need to get used to it. We need to get used to the understanding that we serve a living God that lives, and he speaks, and he has a mouth. He gives us dreams. He gets the message to us one way or another. All right, let's go. For thou hast a treasure of good works laid up with the Most High, but it shall not be shewed thee until the last times. So this angel is telling this man, you have a treasure of good works laid up with the Most High. We all want a treasure of good works, all right? But it shall not be shewed thee until the last time. For concerning death, the teaching is, when the determinate sentence has gone forth from the Most High that a man should die, as the spirit leaveth the body to return again to him who gave it, it adoreth the glory of the Most High first of all. So when a person dies, their spirit goes towards Yahweh, and you behold how amazing Yahweh looks, because we can't see him with our naked eye, but the spirit can see him in his fullness, can see him the way he actually is. Okay? We can only perceive it. We can't see him. We can only perceive his light, but we cannot see him. Your spirit will be able to see him. Okay? And your spirit will start to worship him. All right? Adore him. Adore the glory of the Most High. Okay? And if it be one of those that have been scorners and have not kept the way of the Most High, and that have despised his law, and that hate them that fear God, these spirits shall not enter into habitations. I want you guys to catch something here. He says, okay, and have hated them that fear God. There's people, because they are not walking the way we walk, they look at us and they hate us. Christians, Muslims, atheists, all other religions look at us and hate us because we fear Yahweh. We have Yahweh's mark on us. Okay? And other people see that, and they either love it or they hate it. All right? These spirits shall not enter into habitations, but shall wander and be in torments forthwith, ever grieving and sad in 7 ways. So before I get to the 7 ways, I want you guys to understand. First, when you die, your spirit comes out of you and goes towards Yahweh. It sees Yahweh, sees how amazing he looks, sees that it's all real. All this stuff is real. It's not fake. It's not made up. It's real. But then they get turned away. They get rejected. Their spirit cannot go any closer to Yahweh. So now they're turned around, all right? And they wander the earth. They just walk around aimlessly. I have seen spirits walking around aimlessly. I've watched them walk through my house. I've watched them out here in public. I've watched them. And to the naked eye, if you've seen the movie Predator, how the predator turns invisible, but you can kind of see his outline. That's what those spirits look like to the naked eye. It's just a clear thing moving, but you can see the outline, and you can only see it for a split second at the corner of your eye. You can't really look at it straight on, because once you look at it straight on, you can't see it anymore. But if you just so happen to be sitting somewhere, like I've noticed it in my 18-wheeler a few times, where I'll be sitting reading the word or doing something, looking at a video or something, and out of the corner of my eye, I see out of my driver's side window a spirit walk by the truck and look at me. Okay? These spirits wander, and they just wander aimlessly because they don't know what to do with themselves. They're going to be judged, and they don't know what to do. So they just walk around in torment. All right, but let's read that again. These spirits shall not enter habitations, but shall wander and be in torments forthwith, ever grieving and sad in 7 ways. The first way, because they have despised the law of the Most High. They know they messed up. They know they despised his law. They didn't care nothing about it. They heard about Yahweh. They heard about God. They heard about his word. They heard about all this stuff, but they did not inquire about it. They despised him. So be happy if you know you have not despised his word. Understand that because you hearken to his law and you said, okay, Yah, this is what you want us to do, we're going to do it. I'm going to put in my heart that I'm going to obey. Okay? The second way, because they cannot now make a good returning that they may live. They can't go back into another body and do it again. They realize it's a one-shot deal. They didn't take his word seriously. They didn't take him seriously. They didn't take his law seriously. So in the end, they realize they can't go back. They can only go forward. And that's a scary thing. So we don't have to worry about going back and doing it all over if we strive every day to obey Yahweh's commandments and not break them. Okay? Third way, they shall see the reward laid up for them that have believed the covenants of the Most High. So those who are in torment, they get to see the reward. They get to see heaven. They get to see the spiritual thing that you cannot see with your naked eye. They get to see what you get in the end because it's already ready. We can't perceive it, but when you die, your spirit automatically can see it. And that's a torment for them because they realize there was something for them. There was a good place. Okay? And they don't get it, but they get to see other people have it. The fourth way, they shall consider the torment laid up for themselves in the last days. They're going to understand what's going to happen to them. Okay? The fifth way, they shall see the dwelling places of the others guarded by the angels. All right? They're going to see the angels and see where we are, where we're going to be. And it's guarded. They can't go. With great quietness. We're going to be in great quietness. Peace. All right? The sixth way, they shall see how forthwith some of them shall pass into torment. The seventh way, which is more grievous than all the aforesaid ways, because thou shalt pine away in confusion and be consumed with shame, and shall be withered up by fears, seeing the glory of the Most High, before whom they have sinned whilst living, and before whom they shall be judged in the last times. That future of understanding what's going to happen, that you're going to have to face this. You don't get to rest. You don't get to sleep. You don't get to nothing. We get to rest. We get to go sleep and be refreshed. They're going to be up. There is no rest. Just wandering around 24/7, 7 days a week, thousands and thousands and thousands of years. Just thinking about what's going to happen. You know, they still have their mind. We think, you know, our spirit is, we won't think, but we'll still have our mind to be able to contemplate all these things. And that's crazy. Now, this is the order of those who have kept the ways of the Most High, when they shall be separated from the corruptible vessel. In the time that they dwelt therein, they painfully served the Most High. It's painful here on earth to serve Yahweh. It feels good to sin. but it's painful to serve the Most High. So we need to think about these things. I can't tell you how many times I've sat and I said, y'all, why? How come every time I want to enjoy something nice, it turns to like sand in my hand and all the good things just seep through my fingers and fall out my hand? Why do I struggle and strive? Why do I go through these things? He said it's painful. We painfully serve Yahweh. So that's an encouragement. If you're going through it, if you are being pained by this world and by circumstances, that's a good thing. Okay? All right. In the time that they dwelt therein, they painfully served the Most High and were in jeopardy every hour, that they might keep the law of the lawgiver perfectly. Keep the law perfectly. Keep the law perfectly. That is the goal. That's the goal. And it would be, we need to get our minds wrapped around the law and the understanding of what is expected of us. We can read the prophets, we can read all these things all we want, and that's great. It gives us a lot of insight. Like this right here is giving us a lot of insight. But we need to make sure we understand his law, what he wants us to do. Because if you don't understand what you're supposed to be doing, reading everything else, reading about Jesus, reading about Paul, reading about all of that, Paul was telling you this. Paul read this, and he was telling you this. Okay? He was trying to get us to understand this. Where he was talking about race. That all the runners run the race to get a medal. And you have to practice day in and day out. And you have to run the race as if you want to win. This is what he was talking about. Striving. You look at all the things that Paul went through, being shipwrecked, being hungry, being, beaten, being stoned, being, jailed, everything he went through, tormenting. That's craziness what he went through. But Yahweh says, if that's what it takes for us to get into the kingdom of Yahweh, that's just what it takes. Nobody wants to go through that. Nobody wants to go through the pain, the shame. Nobody wants to go through all of that. But if that's what it takes, that's just what it takes. We got to endure it. We got to set our heart on that right now and say, it's going to be some shenanigans. It's going to be some stuff now. And I got to be ready for it. Because what happens in the end is worth so much more than what happens now. Okay? All right. Let's go. Verse 90. It says, wherefore this is the teaching concerning them. First of all, they shall see with great joy the glory of him who taketh them up, for they shall have rest in 7 orders. So they're going to have great joy when Yahweh comes back for them, when Yeshua comes for them. Just like we saw Stephen, right? Stephen, when he was being martyred, he saw heaven open up in Yeshua, and he saw them coming for him. Okay? And he was like, hey, I forgive them. I'm not even going to hold it to you. I'm gone. Bye. I forgive you. You can have this. All right? The first order, because they have striven with great labor to overcome the evil thought that was fashioned together with them, that it might not lead them astray from life into death. Did you get that? I'm going to repeat that because we need to understand all of us have this evil thought. All of our thoughts are horrible. The enemy uses your thoughts, your mind, will, and emotion. That's what he attacks. He uses your thoughts to get you to act contrary to what Yahweh called you to be and do and act. Okay? And he uses different things. All right. Number one, your own desires. Number two, others outside. The rules, your work, society, all of that, right? The first order, because they have striven with great labor, it is not easy to overcome the evil thought which was fashioned together in us, with us, that it might not lead us astray from life into death. So we have to, number one, overcome our own thoughts. And it's not easy. And I'm going to tell you, it's not easy. It is very hard to tell your thoughts no. When I want something to eat, when I want something that gives me instant gratification, I want that thing like drugs. And everybody knows what I'm talking about. There's something that gets you, that you want that thing like it's a drug, and you're so addicted to it, and you're having to tell yourself no. You're having to say, no, you can't have it. I won't allow it. And that is incredibly hard, okay? It takes great labor to overcome the evil thought. Second order, because they see the perplexity in which the souls of the ungodly wander, and the punishment that awaiteth them. See, so we get to understand, once your soul leaves your body, you're going to look around and see all the souls that are wandering around. And I could imagine from the time of Adam until now, how many souls are wandering around. There's probably just a great crowd. I mean, everywhere you look, of people just wandering like zombies everywhere. And they see that and they're like, ooh, I'm glad. I'm relieved that I'm not them. Okay? Let me read that again because I skipped something. The second order, because they see the perplexity in which the souls of the ungodly wander, and the punishment that awaiteth them. The third order, they see the witness which he that fashioned them beareth concerning them, that while they live, they kept the law which was given them in trust. We get to see the witness. We get to see Yeshua. Okay. The fourth order, they understand the rest which, being gathered in their chambers, they now enjoy with great quietness, guarded by angels, and the glory that awaiteth them in the last days. So we understand rest because of the Shabbat, and we understand how important rest is on the Shabbat. All right? And because we understand that, when we pass, when we die, we are going to understand that now we get to go into a rest until the last days. All right? The fifth order, they rejoice, seeing how they have now escaped from that which is corruptible, and how they shall inherit that which is to come, while they see moreover the straightness and the painfulness from which they have been delivered, and the large room which they shall receive with joy and immortality. So we get to understand, hey, I'm out of this body. I'm out of the pain that this flesh causes. I'm out of the torment, all the things I've gone through in this flesh. I'm free. And now I get to go I get a new body, and I get to go into the place, the large rooms, where Yah says he has mansions with lots and lots of rooms. I get a room now to go rest. All right, the sixth order, which it is shewed unto them how their face shall shine as the sun, and how they shall be made like unto the light of the stars, being henceforth incorruptible. Yeah. We can't even comprehend that right now. But that's okay. Your face is going to shine like Yeshua's, like the sun, like the stars. That's hard to comprehend, but it's okay. It's a good thing. The seventh order, which is greater than all the aforesaid orders, because they shall rejoice with confidence, and because they shall be bold without confusion, and shall be glad without fear. For they hasten to behold the face of him whom in their lifetime they serve. We finally get to see the face of Yahweh, whom we serve without seeing him. We're serving him without ever seeing him and knowing him the way we want to. All right? We get glimpses when we read stuff like this, but we don't get to see him. But we serve our whole life to be with him. All right? And from whom they shall receive their reward when in glory. This is the order of the souls of the just, as from henceforth is announced unto them, and aforesaid are the ways of torture, which they that would not heed shall suffer from henceforth. All right, so that's that. I want you guys to understand, we have to strive in this life. Yes, Yahweh understands that we have gone through a lot and we have lost our ways and we don't know him the way our ancestors knew him. But we have to strive to know him. We have to talk to him just like this prophet talked to him. Just like, we have to cultivate a real relationship and strive to hear his voice. Strive to understand when he speaks. Strive to understand his ways and what he expects of us and how we are to be. We have to strive, you guys. And it's not easy. It's not easy. Once I get glimpses of things like this, it makes me kind of fearful. And I feel like how Paul said, I fear that I have not done enough to get into heaven. But before Paul passed, before he was killed, Yah told him, you don't have to worry about it. You're good. You did good. Don't worry about it. You're in there. So he got to die with relief, knowing he made it. He made it. That's what we strive for, you guys. That is our goal. We all want to hear that, welcome, good and faithful servant. We all want to hear the, enter into my glory. But we have to strive while we're here on the earth. We got to put this flesh, put these thoughts under our feet, just like Cain was supposed to do with Satan. We have to look at the whole Bible, the whole word, and you get to see why Paul was so fervent in his letters and saying, don't play with it. Don't play with it. This is serious business. And I want you guys, don't play with it. Like right now, I got 1,000 miles to go. I got to be there by Monday morning. And I'm worried because I need to drive today to get it there. But every time I make a decision, it's either good or bad. Every time I struggle with these things. Let me tell you something else that happened to me today. I picked up a load of chicken last night. It's supposed to be kept at 20 degrees, right? For fresh chicken. I get up this morning and my reefer is off. I ran out of fuel because I didn't want to go to the gas station last night. So guess what I had to do today? Go to the gas station, fill the reefer up, put fuel in the truck so my reefer could cut back on. Luckily, these new reefers, they don't just run out of fuel. It gets so low that it cuts itself off. And once you fill up, it'll cut itself back on and prime itself. Oh, thank goodness. Otherwise, I have to run to a shop somewhere and pay to get somebody to start this thing back over again. But I want you guys to understand, every day we're fighting. Every day we're striving. Every day things happen that cause us to have to choose one way or another. But we will be judged by our reaction to all of these things. And sometimes we have to say, yeah, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I got this. I don't know what else to do. I'm sorry. And we strive and we strive and we strive to make up for it. You know, you try to be better the next time. You try to plan better the next time. So much I want to say that give you guys real life understanding. But the word kind of speaks for itself. This life is not supposed to be enjoyable. Sorry. I'm sitting here thinking about my only joy, like one of the few joys I have. Number one is my family, my wife and my kids. The only other joy outside of that, outside of reading the word and getting into prayer, okay, let's keep moving this down, because this, what I'm talking about, is pretty low on the level, pretty low on the list of priorities. I like my sound systems. I like my big booming sound systems, you know. And I'll show you something real quick. On my passenger side seat, I got a big subwoofer. I enjoy my music, my big booming music. I enjoy it. It's one of the things that bring me happiness in this life, listening to music. We have to find good things to fill our time up with, because there's so much negative and bad in this world. We have to find things that make us happy, that bring us personal joy, without sinning, without doing something bad, okay? And without getting lost in our thoughts, because I have an incredibly good imagination, which is an incredibly bad thing, because I can create a whole world for myself. But that is the very thing Yahweh says you got to overcome, is your thoughts. I say all that and I do all of this to tell you guys, surround yourself with good things. Surround yourself with things that are holy, that are good, that are peaceful, that are lovely, okay? And you won't deal with those thoughts so much. When I'm riding, listening to music, I'm not thinking about nothing. You know, I'm driving, going to work, doing what I gotta do, but it stops your mind from wandering. And because Satan is so quick to use those wandering thoughts to bring you into some type of sin. And Yeshua says, if you think about it, you have already done it. Satan will use everything at his disposal to get you to think about it, so that Yeshua sees you as you've already screwed up. You've already messed up. You've already done it. So we fight against that with music, thoughts of our family, our children, why we're doing this, why we're struggling in this life, why we go through these shenanigans. And hey, we make it another day. Thank y'all so much for checking in. Thank you so much for watching these videos. I really hope you gain a lot, because I'm learning a lot from these. I'm getting it. I am understanding so much. Okay? Let's keep this thing going. We'll see you on the next video. Have a great one.